And we're live for Sunday Service episode number 70, number 70, hot off of UFC Houston. We got a lot to talk about after last night. I'm sure Sean Strickland would have liked to have said more, but they cut off his mic. They cut off the mic of the winning fighter in the main event, the big upset. Sean Strickland comes through with a round 3 knockout. Anthony Hernandez once again gets folded to the body. And a big upset in that one. But I know a lot of people don't believe it was an upset. A lot of people were calling for Sean Strickland to get it done. He gets it done. And he might be in the title picture. But after the fact, he goes out. Second time he's on a mic in front of the media under the new Paramount era. And he's going off. And then eventually the mic gets cut off. And then he has to walk out, which I could see coming. I could definitely see coming. So there's a little bit of a talking point going on with that. How are they going to move forward with Sean Strickland because he just upset Anthony Hernandez? And they're in a position where Sean Strickland has beaten most of the guys in the middleweight division except the current champion. The current champion, Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland, would be an amazing fight. But do they want to give Sean Strickland the platform after what he's been saying and the backlash that they have been getting? I'm interested to hear what you guys in the chat have to say about it, because ultimately that's what these live streams are for. I got, my opinion. My opinion would be, who cares? I don't care if Sean Strickland says these things, and I don't care if he says it in the UFC octagon. I don't care if he says it at the MMA media. I don't really care. But they are with a new partner, and that new partner might have some different feelings than I do. So I'm interested to hear what you guys got to say. All in all, last night at UFC Houston was a dud of a card for me. I lost some serious coin. Again, your boy has started off 2026 cold as ice. But the last 3 fights were pretty dang good. The last 3 fights were awesome. The prelims kind of sucked because nobody was getting finishes. The only finish was Jocelyn Edwards. And then we got to the main card, and you kind of expect a finish from Reese versus Pereira. That doesn't happen. Then Jacoby Smith comes in, knocks out Josiah Harrell. Then we get it's not a terrible heavyweight fight, but you would have liked to see it finish. But the last 3 fights definitely delivered. Got to give a shout out to Melky Costa, the first man to knock out Dan Ige when I doubted him all week. And yet I'm still not sold. We'll talk about that a little bit. Uros Medic goes in there and knocks out Jeff Neal. Knocks the snot out of Jeff Neal in round 1. That was a minute and 19 seconds. I don't care if this guy is good or not, because I really don't know. Apparently, I got to say he's good, right? He knocked out Jeff Neal. But he's getting a lot of these fast finishes, and they're super exciting. You could say he's a good fighter. You could say he's a bad fighter. You can say he's been, running hot. But at the end of the day, the guy is fun to watch. So shout out to Uros Medic. Looks like he might be getting his wish to fight in Serbia. Maybe could be a main event at this point. He could definitely be a main event. He's going to be in the rankings of the welterweight division. Jeff Neal, sober Jeff Neal, might be out of the rankings, man. He might have to. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Might have to go back on a little bender, get his mojo back. Sean Strickland, big win, though. How we doing in the chat tonight? We got Pap in here. What's going on, Andrew? How we doing, brother? Yadier certified trash in his mind. He still thinks he beat Dulgarian. Yeah. How the tables have turned, brother. How the tables have turned. I would just like to know. I'm not going to say I want an apology, but I would just like to know, Yadier Del Val, the man who coached him. I don't even know your name, but whoever DM'd me that was your coach. Do you really still think you beat Isaac Dulgarian fair and square? Come on, bruh. Do you really think that? All right? You losing to Jordan Levitt in the fashion that you lost, where Jordan Levitt was able to take you down and hold you down at will, that puts the nail in the coffin. Isaac Dulgarian definitely sold that fight. He sold it to the point where there's no coming back. All right. He threw that fight out the window. He had an easy takedown on you and then gave up on it. And the moment Jordan Levitt wanted to take you down, guess what happened? He did. And Jordan Levitt is not on the level of a wrestling as Isaac Dulgarian. So honestly, the biggest loser of UFC Houston was not even a guy that was fighting on the card. It was Isaac Dulgarian. Because if Del Val went out there and choked out Jordan Levitt in round one, then we might be asking ourselves, maybe Isaac Dulgarian is innocent. Maybe Del Val is just really that good. But that's not what happened. Jordan Levitt, a guy that has been in the UFC but has been out grappled by a lot of guys, goes in there and just wet blankets Yadier Del Val. So Yadier Del Val, I know you weren't in on the Isaac Dulgarian thing, but I would like a little apology, because when I said that fight was rigged, you said that you just won fair and square and I was a salty better. I'd like an apology. I would. Give me an apology, please. Thanks. People need to remember, Sean works for the UFC, not the other way around. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is 100% true. And I guess the UFC could cut him. It is a thing. Like, the UFC could cut him, but I don't think they're going to, because they don't want that, behind their brand. Dana White's not going to want that behind his brand. Maybe they'll talk to him about it. Just be like, dude, cut us a break a little bit. Because it honestly seems like Sean Strickland gets off to it. I'll pull this up, but they had to cut off his mic. I've never seen that. Never in the entire time I've watched UFC and watched UFC media days and UFC press conferences. I've never seen a mic get cut off, but maybe they'll talk to him. It just seems like whenever this guy gets on a mic, he's looking for those reactions. He's looking to piss some people off. Like he really enjoys doing it, which I can understand. It is kind of fun to like rage bait people. And I feel like he's just out here rage baiting people. He might believe it. I'm not saying he doesn't believe it, but even if you did believe it, you don't need to go this far. I feel like he gets off to making people uncomfortable or making people react. He loves to get a reaction, which is fine. He's kind of built his career outside of, or like his persona outside of what he does in the cage based off of this. And that's one way to like make your name. And I'm not saying it's not authentic, but it's definitely like not necessary. Like, he doesn't need to say the exact things that he says, but he does it. He likes to rage bait people. He likes to get the reactions. So I could see the UFC saying something to him, because I'm sure Paramount is saying something to the UFC that they're like, dude, you gotta get this guy in check a little bit. They cut the mic once. He started calling. Yeah, which is, I kind of wanted to hear him cook, dude. I kind of wanted to hear what he had to say about that. Because, we always talk about Pat Barry and Rose Namajunas, but that one was even worse. That one might be way worse. I don't know. I don't know too much about that, but from what I do know, it doesn't look good for that guy. Might have looked like a fool with my long shots, but Strickland moneyline and Strickland KO, bang. Dude, the sad thing is, for one, good call, but I had 3 angles in that bet. 3 angles that I thought had real value, right? Number 1 was fight to go the distance. I thought that was the safest play of them, so I played it. But the other 2 was Strickland by KO and Strickland by KO in rounds 2, 3, or 4. And I did not play those. Unfortunate. Edwards moneyline, Correa moneyline, Smith moneyline, 3-leg parlay. Attaboy. Looked like easy money. Daniels Forrest 550. What up, hey Jive? Hope you're having a great weekend. I would say I'm not having a great weekend because my betting results were not good, but it's always a good weekend, man. We got to be positive here. We got to be positive. If we want to turn things around, let's stay positive. It's a good weekend. Thank you, brother. Sean Strickland definitely ruffled some feathers at Paramount. 100%. They're not used to that. Not at all. Ige spread doesn't hit, but Costa is a dog. Yeah, he's a dog. He is a dog. And I said Melky Costa head kick KO is not replicable. And then he must have seen that, and he took that shit personally. You know, he leaned forward and he got locked in. Says, I'm about to head kick KO Dan Ige here. Hits him with a spinning back kick. Beautiful kick. The guy's an amazing kicker. You know, I don't want to say I'm shocked because I'm not shocked. Like, if he's going to knock him out, it's going to be with a kick. A spinning back kick, though, to the face, that's, you know, I don't want to say it again. Like, it's not very replicable, but the guy is coming off back-to-back kick KO, so got to give him his credit. I love how in the card where most fights went to decision, Ige did not lose by decision. Yeah, right? Right? Like, out of all fights, you know, Dan Ige gets finished. A women's MMA fight gets finished. And then this fight, of course, we kind of expected a finish. But honestly, in the main event, I didn't really expect to finish. So interesting. Kind of a wild card. Dude basically just had no wrestling at all. Yeah. I'm not sure who you're talking about, but let me know. Make another donation this week. Yeah, I made a few donations, brother. A few. It's okay. You gotta donate. Gotta give it away a little bit. It'll come back. Hand to ass. Yadier Delval isn't even a 3-stripe blue belt in my school. I don't understand how he has a black belt. His instructor should be embarrassed. Well, I'm pretty sure his instructor, his jiu-jitsu instructor or whatever, is the guy that was DMing me. So, yeah, not a good look. FBI needs to lock up Dulgarian yesterday. Delval gets some help. 2 or 3 years Dagestan and forget. For real, bro. For real. Dulgarian could have diddied Yadier if he wanted to. He definitely would have. Fluffy bullet Dulgarian. Dixon, you know, if it wasn't a high-level fight, I may say yes, but I think Strickland just had the perfect game plan, honestly. Hernandez might have been injured, too. Who knows? Costa fraud chick will hit like crack. 2 flukes back-to-back. That's the thing, bro. You know, Kanye West once said, I might not be right. I forget what the fuck he said. I'm not right. Sometimes I'm not right, but I'm not right now. I'm just not right now. So in the future, we might be right about this. I'm not fucking sold on Melky, bro. I'm just not. I think he gives problem. I think he maybe could. I definitely think he could. I mean, because that was a real test. You know, Anthony Hernandez is gonna test your wrestling, and he didn't really test it at all because he couldn't get close. Josiah Harrell got rebrain damaged, and now Jeff gonna slam. Dude. Oh man, yeah, that's brutal. That is brutal. How about that stoppage though? You know, I made a tweet about it, but that stoppage was kind of fucking. It was late. It was a late stoppage. You know, Jacoby definitely had him out. Like, he had him out. Josiah Harrell went stiff. Like, you could see it. He went out. And then Hatley steps in. But then Jacoby Smith hit him with like 2 more shots after he stepped in. Like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? I guess the adrenaline got the best of him. But to hit a guy with a brain injury that many times, it's not good. Not good. I think they cut off Strickland's mic for making the pedophile accusations. I don't know who he was talking about, but I feel like that's what caused it for potential slander lawsuit. Yeah, maybe. But I feel like he's said stuff in the past before along the same lines. I don't know if it was about the same person, but he said stuff like this in the past before. But it just seems like a weird time to cut it off, you know? Probably just based on what was happening before. What are you saying before? And they're like, yeah, we should probably just get him out of here. So they did. I was all excited for UFC in Houston and all the fights went to decision. I think it's rigged. Yeah, I mean, fucking, you pay the guys $25,000 more to get a bonus, and then they just go out there and go to decision. Because, like, let's look at the past few cards. there's not a ton of finishes, man. There's really not. Like last night, there was what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finishes out of 14 fights. So 9, 10, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 9 out of 7, 9 out of 27. 9 out of 27. There was a decent amount of finishes here. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, 9 finishes out of 27 fights, man. And like, I would expect these guys on the prelims to really be going for a finish, you know? Like Garul in Korea, they're probably making 12 and 12, 15 and 15. An extra 25K just to get a finish is a lot of money. Even, fucking Phil Rowe. God damn, dude. Phil Rowe is probably one of the most frustrating fighters ever. But yeah, I don't know. I've kind of noticed this though. I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you guys have also noticed this. When there's like a big favorite, I feel like the big underdog that's in the matchup kind of has been fighting to not get finished. A lot of these fighters are like, it's like a win for them to not get finished, but they lose a decision. Am I crazy for saying that? But it almost feels like that. Just think about all the big favorites we've seen in 2025 or 2026. Like last night, Juliana Miller. Juliana Miller, she went for those finishes on the ground, but for the most part, she wasn't really trying to engage in the striking, which makes sense. But also, like, if you're not engaging in the striking, you're going to lose. Garul wasn't really pushing much. Rowe wasn't really pushing much. Those weren't like huge favorites, but even this one, was there a big one on this one? I think it was the first one, 324. Like Gautier Pulaev, Gautier is a massive favorite. Pulaev, I feel like kind of fought to go to decision. Figueiredo kind of fought to go to decision. Maybe I'm crazy or maybe I'm just kind of upset that there's not been many finishes, but it kind of seems like these big underdogs are like fighting a game plan to not get finished. And while they're doing that, they're not even giving themselves a chance to win the fight. I think that Chimaev versus Yuri was paid PR by the UFC. Maybe it could. Maybe it could be. I don't think it was paid, though. I don't even know. No, I don't think so, honestly. They don't need to pay for that. Alex is definitely going to heavyweight, though. Strickland look minus 250 out there. I would argue maybe even higher, bro. Maybe even higher. Because he stuffed all the takedowns. I mean, there was only really one official attempt, but he had a great game plan, man. A great game plan. Just jab. Don't overextend. Don't throw a lot of kicks, because Fluffy could catch him and he could be off balance. And then when Hernandez does get close, dig underhooks and circle out. Don't even allow him to push you up against the cage. And he looked great, man. He looked great. I had a 10-leg parlay that went 9 of 10, but the doctor put me to sleep. Yeah, that's tough, dude. That's a brutal KO. What's happening with the booking these days? No main event for April still. What are they waiting for? I don't know, but I saw Yuri's like climbing a fucking mountain or something in Mexico. Or maybe that was an old post, but I would think it's going to be Yuri versus Olberg, unless Khamzat actually does move up. But based on what Dana White said at the press conference yesterday, it doesn't really sound like he's interested in having Chimaev move up to 205. But either way, I think it's probably going to be Yuri versus someone. It seems like Pereira is going to move up to heavyweight. And I think they're going to do Pereira versus Gane at the White House. That kind of makes sense. Pereira versus Gane. Pereira's got to be on the card. Are they going to do Pereira versus Jones? I kind of doubt it. It would be a bigger fight. But Pereira versus Gane, heavyweight, the heavyweight title at the White House seems likely. The Dalmatian is absolute gangster, made Ige cry on impact. Yeah, that was kind of wild. He looked like he was like, dude, what the fuck just hit me? How was the only finish of the first fight? I don't know, man. I don't know. Who would win, MVP or Strickland? Strickland would win. Yeah, I would go Strickland. Frustrating having the Reese money line. Did it for the love of the game. Dude, honestly, I thought he could have won. I thought he could have won that. And I had a bet on Pereira. Fluffy looked like he was in the worst shape of his career for the biggest fight of his career. He did look fucking flabby, dude. That's why I kind of thought maybe he had an injury or something, because based on his last couple fights, he looked like he was in a lot better shape. Cost of fate is going to be generational. It will be, bro. It will. We may not be right. Or no, we might not be right. I might not be right, but I'm not right now. I forget what the fuck he said, but it was I take inspiration from him. Costa will lose to someone who he is supposed to squash easily. Yeah. Dana getting mad at his own journalist that he put. I don't know that he really controls any of that, to be honest. Came in late. Zach and Michelle are both bums. That was a interesting fight because I didn't really feel like either guy had a great game plan. I didn't really feel like either guy deserved to win, you know? I mean, Zach Reese, I don't think Zach Reese is all that great, but the fact that he competed very well with Michel Pereira tells me Michel Pereira is fucking washed, dude. He's washed. Sean talked about breaking his arm 8 weeks before the second DDP fight. I think that fooled a lot of people. Yeah, he definitely had an injury before that fight. I don't think people realizing how bad it actually was. Harold KO'd himself on the takedown. Did he? Did he KO himself on the takedown? I didn't see that, but he was definitely fucking out. Bum fighters, Michelle, so bad. Barely any subs this year, too. Yeah, not many. Round 3 prediction show. Love your content, man. You're laid back as F. Same vibe I'm going for. The yelling YouTuber is a dying breed. Yeah, I'm normally a pretty laid back dude. I mean, it more comes out on the live streams, but sometimes you got to be loud. You got to be loud. Short form content, you got to be loud. And some YouTube videos, sure, but lives are more my vibe, brother. Anyone tested Kobe for horse meat in his cheddar? Maybe, dude, for real, dude. This dude's fucking yoked out of his mind, bro. I mean, come on. That dude's natty. Dude must have the 0.00001% of genetics on the planet, if that's natty. Because apparently he's not even that fucking hard of a worker. Come on. Never felt better picking my guy, Sean. There you go. Max or Olives? Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. I honestly have no idea at this point. I kind of feel like Max, but one back take, the fight could be over. Fighting to not get finished equals Juliana Miller. Yeah, exactly. The it factor, you must be a casual. Did I miss something? Dixie. Hey, Jive, remember I kept asking early in the week on the show with BP, is Sean Strickland the American Piotr Yan? And it turns out he is. He is. Yeah. You know what? I remember what I said, Dixon. I said, to beat Anthony Hernandez, I feel like you got to finish him. And I just didn't think Sean Strickland had the finishing ability to finish him because he doesn't finish anybody. That's why he gets all this heat about being a boring fighter. He doesn't finish anybody. But then he did finish Anthony Hernandez because he's soft to the body. He got a little baby belly. Either middleweight is just ass or Strickland has a top 25 resume ever. Would like to see him fight Imavov, the eye poke merchant. Well, let's look at it, boys. I mean, Strickland's beaten Imavov before. Granted, it was short notice up a weight class, but he did beat him. Beat Anthony Hernandez. He's beaten Brendan Allen. He's beaten Israel Adesanya. He lost to Jared Cannonier. The only guys he hasn't beaten in the top 6 is Dricus and Khamzat. They're not going to do the Dricus trilogy. Like, you can't do that. So what the hell do you do with Sean Strickland? I think he should fight Chimaev, honestly. I think that would be a sick buildup. That would be such a sick buildup. I just don't know that Paramount's ready to do that just yet. You know, I don't know that Paramount's ready for that because that would be wild. considering what he also said last night at the press conference about Khamzat Chimaev. So I think that would be a sick fight. Strickland, Khamzat, the buildup would be awesome. I'm all for it, bro. I'm all for it. What's up, brother? How we doing? What would your lines be for Khamzat Sean? Probably similar to what Hernandez was. Khamzat minus 250. Minus 250. But, I don't really think Sean would be out of the fight, He could definitely do better than Dricus did. I could tell you that. He would do a lot better than Dricus. But, yeah, Khamzat minus 250, minus 260. Am I crazy for liking Bobby Green by decision? So Huber is trash. Went to a close 29-28 with Prado at 155 too. Dude, I'm so fucking done with Zell Huber, bro. I mean, the only reason we've ever put money on the guy is because he has so much potential. But every time he goes out there, he looks like shit to me. So yeah, I'm definitely not gonna be betting on Zell Huber at minus 500. Can I blame you for liking Bobby Green by decision? No, I can't really, but at the same time, I don't really trust Bobby's chin. So did you hear about the crazy shit going on in Mexico? I did. I mean, that's fucking wild. But hopefully they figure that out. Hey, do you have a question? Would you rather see Bones Jones versus Poatan Pereira or Gane versus Pereira at the White House for the heavyweight interim title? Also, Yuri versus Olberg or Yuri or Chimaev. Thanks, bro. Daniels Forest 550. I would rather see, personally, I think Yuri versus Chimaev is more intriguing than Yuri versus Olberg. But I like either fight. Would I rather see John Jones versus Poatan or Gane versus Poatan? I think I would rather see Jones versus Poatan just because it's a bigger fight. But stylistically, I would rather see Gane versus Pereira. Like the actual fight, I think Gane versus Pereira would be more fun. But the build up between a Jones Pereira fight would be sick. Call me crazy. I think Alex gets Gane out of there. I don't think you're crazy, but Gane is a fucking freak athlete, man. He's a freak athlete. Ige made me feel bad for him once I saw him about to bust down crying after that head kick. Yeah, I think he just really, really needed that win, really felt like he needed it. And he got caught with a spinning back kick to the face. And it was a questionable stoppage. Just think about the past couple of weeks. We've seen refs not step in for a lot worse. But the ref stepped in and he's probably fuck, dude. He can't be mad at the ref for stepping in because he got caught with it. But he feels like he really needed that win. Super early pick. Who wins between Joshua Van versus Tyra? I think Tyra wins. That's why I bet on him to be the champion at the end of 2026. But yeah, I saw he was minus 200, which seems a little bit pricey, but it kind of just depends how the fight plays out. Strickland been Morgan, Michelle, and Spart. He's been fucking working him for sure. Yeah, Pereira showed us he doesn't want to fight at all, and he showed up for a check. 100%. Definitely faking those fouls, yeah. Just came in late. Hope you haven't been calling mini Tom Aspinall, Zach Reese this whole time. Yeah, no, I haven't. I actually should have brought that up during fight week, but I didn't. I'm an actual casual for not bringing that up. I'm pretty way behind on these chats, but thank you for joining me tonight, boys. Glad you guys could be in the chat, so I got somebody to talk to. We got 124 people in the live stream right now. Hit the like button for me while we're at it, or while we're going through these chats. But Leal looked good. That fight was a banger. It was. Was he on something? 100%. 100%. Yeah, we need more likes. Earned his title shot, you mean? Reese was robbed. It was close. Leal as natty as Uberim. I personally think Imavov should be next, and Sean fights the winner. Imavov has done enough for the title shot. It's frustrating watching Khamzat asking to go to light heavyweight without even any defenses. The thing with Imavov not getting the shot is Khamzat said he doesn't really want to fight another Muslim. he said he didn't really want to fight his Muslim brother. So maybe that was why he was going to move up to 205. But honestly, I think Khamzat might want the Strickland fight more. So we'll see what they want. Sean already beat Imavov. Yeah. Fluffy, low-key, fraud checked. Yeah, low-key. Maybe high-key. Maybe. People claiming Alex is scared of Khamzat is a big reach. Yeah, no, he's not scared of him, bro. Hided this UFC 65. Hitted. Dude, I don't know how you guys fucking type so shitly. Hitted this UFC 65 to 1 with 4 fights. Nice, brother. Real nice. Little Chino. Little diet soda. Wet the beak. Let's get back to these chats. Fluffy was only fraud checked to casuals. I don't know what that means, but sure. Sean beat Drickus in the first fight. I don't think he did, bro. He beat Cannonier if you're not blind. You know, that was a bad robbery. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really call it a robbery. It was a close fight, but I could definitely see Sean winning. Khamzat will destroy Sean. Maybe. Fax got robbed on Cannonier too. Do you think Strickland would beat Prime Silva? I don't know, bro. I wasn't really watching when Silva was in his prime, so I'm probably not the guy to ask. Khamzat minus 650. That's definitely not the odds. Khamzat versus Strickland would be Conor versus Habib all over again. Not quite. Not quite on that level, but the back and forth might be, because I know Strickland would fucking go for it. It might be more like Strickland versus, or might be more like McGregor versus Aldo, you know, where McGregor's the one barking at him the whole time, and Aldo's not really saying a ton back. Because I don't think Khamzat would really say much back. He might give like a couple one-liners, but Strickland would be going at him. Nobody beats a Prime Silva. I'm angry Kopylov didn't hit Fluffy with another body kick. Yeah, for real, dude. For real. I hope it's a lower number so I make more money on the fight. So Huber's a bum, facts. Medic versus Holland. Medic versus Holland in Serbia. Can you imagine that? They send Kevin Holland to fucking Serbia. Wow. Thoughts on Brady versus Buckley? Yeah, that was a good little fight announcement I saw. You know, I think Brady could definitely bounce back there. I definitely think he could bounce back. Hey, Job, don't lie. You be talking the same way Sean does about Khamzat behind closed doors. To be honest, I don't talk about Khamzat behind closed doors. I really only talk about him when I'm on camera. So that's about it. I'm angry Kopylov didn't hit Fluffy with another body kick. Yeah. If Khamzat really moves up to 205, it's going to turn 3 divisions upside down. Yeah, it really would. That's why it would be kind of fun, because it opens up the middleweight division, you know? Because, like, everybody that is going to fight Khamzat is going to be a plus 200 underdog or higher at minimum. So it kind of opens up the middleweight division where there's some fun fighters. I'm fucking sick. I did not pull the trigger on Strickland. Same here, brother. Give Zellhuber to whoever the most dangerous lightweight prospect is in the world. Zellhuber is and should be a gatekeeper. Dude, they've given him like the old guys. Christos Yagos, fucking Michael Johnson, fucking Trey Ogden, fucking what's his name? Lando Venata. And he's lost to 3 of those guys. It's crazy. Gon beats Alex clearly. Size difference would be wild. Yeah. I mean, Pereira's fucking big, though. They keep trying to give him unks to build him up. Yeah, that's so true. Sean speaks. Am I really that far off? No, okay. Sean speaks for American men. He was the underdog, UFC and Paramount. Oh, okay. All right. Let's chill out there, Mark B. Let's chill out. It was a good fight. Alex ain't scared, but Khamzat would ragdoll. Yeah, probably. Probably would. Hey, John, people forget what lean cuisine. Steve Garcia did to Michael Acosta when they fought. It was like dude, it was bad. He beat the piss out of Melky Costa. What do you think about the White House card? Who would you put on the card? We did a whole live stream about this, but that was, what, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago? Right now, I'm not really sure what I would want because I've already thought about it and I put it out, and I don't know if I'm going to change that. But what I think they're going to do is Pereira Gane, Topuria Gaethje, and then McGregor versus somebody. I don't know who. And then the other 3 fights, I'm not sure. But those 3 fights I feel like are probably going to happen at the White House. Sucks for Reese and other fighters that seem to bleed easily. Yeah, that is a big thing, man. That is a big thing in this sport, is like, if you bleed a lot, it's not going to be beneficial to you at all. And I would know that, dude. Like, some of these guys just bleed so easily, but they're not really like injured. They didn't really feel anything on it. Cause like when I would spar, my nose would bleed like almost instantly. Like if you hit it with one jab, my nose is bleeding, but it's not like I got like hit with a big right hand to the face and like it broke my nose. Like my nose just bleeds really easily. Like you saw that with Reese, you saw that with Ante Dalia. Like they're getting hit with jabs and stuff, and they're bleeding a lot, but it's not really like they're taking a ton of punishment, but they just don't wear it very well. Do you think Strickland stands a chance against Khamzat? I do think he stands a chance. Wish Brady got that Bilal rematch instead of Buckley. I like him, but I think Buck wins easily. I don't know, man. I mean, if Brady can get his grappling going, he could definitely snowball it. Feeling like Paramount era might not be good long term. I mean, dude, this is like there's 4 weeks. It's only been 4 cards. I think it'll be great long term, honestly. I think it will, because it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. They're just learning how this works. They haven't dealt with a sport like this, man. They haven't. So they're learning how it works. They're getting used to it. Give it some time, man. It's 4 cards. 4 cards in, and people are ready to write them off. I don't think so. Pantoja would have won Bam if it wasn't for the mistake. I think Cop smokes Van 2, and I think Tyra smokes him, and Van is overhyped. Van's fucking good, but he's definitely beatable, man. Definitely beatable. Fluffy got embarrassed bad. Yeah, Sean could beat any middleweight if he was ready. Pretty true. Topuria will beat Makhachev. Too bad they're not going to fight, brother. Crazy matching making for Moni Moicano. Yeah. Little main event at the Apex. I might have to go. Might have to go to the Apex, support the money man. We'll see, brother. Imagine picking a fight with Uros Medic at the bar because he doesn't really look like a fighter, and then he does to you what he did to Jeff Neal. You know, someone in Alaska ate a knuckle sandwich for sure, dude. For sure. That dude's fucking punches must just rip, man. Because he knocks dudes out and they fucking die. They die. We should move up and give back the belt. Who are your top 4 future champs in UFC by the end of 2026? My top 4? I don't know what you mean by top 4. I don't know what you mean by top 4, but I'll tell you right now who I would think in every weight class. Flyweight, I'm still going to go with Tatsuro Taira. Bantamweight, I want to say Umar, but I don't think they really like how he's been fighting. So I'm tempted to say they might not give him a title shot. Might just stick with Jan. Featherweight, I think if they put Jean Silva against Alexander Volkanovski, Jean Silva knocks him out. They just got to give him the chance. Lightweight, Topuria. Topuria's back. Topuria's not losing at lightweight unless he moves up to 170, which could happen. Welterweight, it doesn't seem like they're going to do Islam versus Kamaru. And if they don't do that, Islam's probably still going to be the champion because he probably beats Ian Gary. Middleweight, I do think if Khamzat fights soon, he might vacate after that and move up. But if he doesn't, he's going to stay that way. Light heavyweight, I'm going to go. I said Olberg because I feel like Olberg could knock out Yuri, but I don't know if Khamzat might move up. I'll say Khamzat 205 because I feel like he is going to move up. And heavyweight, I'm going to go with Cyril Gane. Van versus Tyra thoughts. If Van can survive early, he should be able to cook Tyra. He should be able to cook him, but that's a tough if. You know, Brandon Moreno's never been finished, and he got finished by Tyra within 2. And Tyra's a finisher, man. I'm sure that Dana is frustrated with Khamzat's tons of mysterious illnesses and injuries. If he's not able to fight this June, July, do you think the UFC would have to consider stripping him? No, I don't. I mean, they might consider it, but I think they would just pressure him into some sort of scenario where it's like, dude, you got to fight soon. Otherwise, you should vacate, or you should say you're going to move a weight class, because they're not going to strip Khamzat. They would just force him to make a decision. What do you think of Gable Stevenson last fight? Still not impressed, bro. Still not impressed. Is Conor even fighting? I don't know. Apparently he is. Gregor trilogy with Nate or fight Chandler. If Nate's not in prison. Yeah, exactly, bro. Maybe a silly question, but did Moicano and Gilbert really get arrested? No, they didn't, dude. No, they didn't. They just been training. They got fights coming up, bro. Hey, Job, I could see that glee, that twinkle in your eye tonight because you're so excited to see Clarissa Shields box later this evening. Didn't even know she was boxing. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to check it out, but good luck to her. Good luck to her. Is there a twinkle in my eye? Maybe there is. Who's harder for Van, Pantoja or Tyra? I think they're both equally as hard. But I would say Tyra just because he's younger, he's a little bit hungry. Have you talked about Strickland being censored? Yeah, that was at the beginning of the live. You can rewind it, brother. Rewind it and go check it out. Didn't go like super deep into it, but I talked about it a little bit. Gave my thoughts. Did you see that clip of Dana forgetting bonuses weren't 50K anymore? No, I did it. I did it. That's funny though. Wait, who's Moicano fighting? I thought he was fighting Ortega. Moicano's fighting Chris Duncan at the Apex, April 4th. Yeah, April 4th. Apex main event. Chris Duncan. Moicano claimed they posted the fight and he hadn't signed the contract. I didn't see that, but it wouldn't shock me. Connor talks all the time and it's fine. Sean talks, they censor him. Well, Connor's not talking at like a media day. He's just talking wherever, bro. Wherever. Sean's at the media day with the Paramount logo behind them. It's a little bit different. Van versus Kopp would have been a more entertaining fight. Do you think that this will be the main or co-main, 327? Van versus Tyra co-main, 327 is confirmed, I'm pretty sure. Van Kopp would be a sick fight, though. Both of them would be sick. I know personally Medic. I'm from Belgrade. I met him at gym where I used to train. That's pretty sick, bro. Pretty sick. Silva's a savage voodoo man. He is, bro. Don't forget Elevation in Mexico City this week. That's going to be a narrative. It is. It is. If we get the card, the fucking cartel might shut this shit down. But, yeah, make sure you're thinking about cardio this week, boys. A little Mexico City Elevation. Don't forget it. Bro, Yuri breaks Olberg after losing the first 2-3 rounds. Don't overthink it. Yeah, exactly. It could happen. Strickland said he wants the fight and he would bring a goat. Okay, nice. He would. He would definitely find a way to mess with Khamzat in that way. What up, Hayden? Love your content, bro. Keep grinding. Big things coming. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. I don't think Olbert stands a chance to get Yuri. He definitely stands a chance, dude. Like, fucking Yuri can get cracked by anybody. It's just you got to put him out. If you don't put him out, then he's going to fucking put it on you. But Olbert could hurt him. Maybe knock him out early. Pereira versus Khamzat would look like Drake is versus Khamzat. No attempts to get up and just stagnant on the ground. Probably, bro. Probably. I saw everyone saying free Gilbert and free Moicano, so I was like, did they really get deported? No. No, that's just like a joke because they haven't been on the podcast recently, but they're just training, bro. Max Holloway or Olive? I don't know yet, bro. I'm not sure. I got to watch tape on it. Is Chris Duncan a teammate of Money? Yeah, they both train at ATT. I don't know how much training they've done together because I think they train with different coaches. So I don't think they really like train together that much, but I know that they have trained or they train at the same gym. Connor, you missed his mouth with Habib. What? I think Alden Corey is a future contender in that division. Dude is amazing everywhere. It seemed his UFC fights. Yeah, I mean, he looks fucking good, man. I was high on him coming into the UFC, and he's looked great. He's looked great. I think Usman can beat Khamzat. Ian Gary beats Islam. Topuria stays undefeated at 55. Marab beats Jan on a rematch. Ron Murphy gives Volk a very close fight. Sean versus Usman at the White House. Do you think Usman's going to move up to 85? Interesting. Some hot takes there. Thoughts on Bahalio against the Ritter? I mean, I think Bahalio should beat him, bro. I think he should beat him. Do you think Usman or Magomedov will make the shift over to UFC after his last fight? Or if he can hang in the UFC? I don't know why the UFC would even want him, honestly. Like, what does Usman or Magomedov bring to the UFC at this point? He's going to go to the lightweight division, and I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't really think he's like the most exciting fighter, but like, do they really need another Nurmagomedov? Do they really need another OV, bro? Like, they have Makhachev at 170, Chimaev at middleweight. They have Ankalaev at 205. They have Evloev at 145. They have Umar at 135. Like, do they really need another Nurmagomedov just to slap him at 155? I don't know. I don't know why the UFC would really care. How did that ruin Sean's chances? He does that every time. Sean getting title next. Imavov gets the dog shit beat out of him against Strickland. Okay. I mean, apparently you don't know how politics works, but yeah, it could definitely ruin his chances there, brother. Who do you got between RDR Kyle? I think I got Kyle, bro. Max minus 200. Can't go by the first fight. Well, yeah, of course. Can't go by the first fight. It was a long time ago. What's your pick in the Moicano Duncan fight? I'm not sure right now, but I have a feeling Duncan will be a favorite just based on momentum. Yeah, I got to watch the tape, brother. That's how we come to conclusions. Dricus versus Imavov, Sean versus Usman while Khamzat heals. You think Usman's going to move up to 185? Costa, Medic, Strickland, Spivak, maybe Rich. Attaboy. Kavanaugh main event is mental. Right? After getting knocked out by Charles Johnson, bro. A little bit. Usman wants that 85 strap, wants to fight Khamzat for title, has been very vocal about it. But he said he wanted to get the belt back at 170 before he moved to 85. So he's going to have to fight at 170 before. Not a fan of him either. I can't really say anybody's a fan of him. How do you think Mario Batista versus Peyton Talbot goes? It's a good question. I want to say Batista could beat him, but it kind of depends. 5 rounds or 3 rounds? I would almost give Talbot a better chance in 5 rounds than 3 rounds. Because I feel like Batista could probably win the first 2. Because Talbot has great cardio, just like Batista does. But I think he might be able to implement more as the fight goes on. But that would be a good matchup, honestly. It would. What I'm trying to say, Connor talks shit about family and religion. Meanwhile, Habib waited for the fight. So why can't Sean say, go, fucker? I mean, he can. He can do whatever he wants, dude. Dana and Hunter love their OVs. Usman is soft. When will you join the Show Me the Money podcast? I don't know, bro. Couldn't tell you. What fight are you most excited about that's been announced? Well, there's not many that have been announced, honestly. We're kind of been waiting. We just got the April co-main. We don't have the April main. We don't have the May main event. So I guess Van versus Tyra because I got the future on Tatsuro Tyra. If you do Usman to Strickland, I mean, I'll be down for that, right? Strickland could get some get back. Win or lose, I just can't bet against Moicano, right? Right? Like you don't want to lose, or you don't want to lose if, you don't want to lose and Moicano wins, right? And you don't want to win when Moicano lost. Jose Medina and Chris Matinho on the same card is crazy. Yeah, brother. I mean, this Mexico card is not exactly the deepest card I've ever seen. It's pretty fucking bad. It's pretty bad. It's like low level. Like, let's just check this out. Like, I've seen Apex cards with more talent than this, dude. Wes Schultz, Damian Pinas, Eric Silva coming back after like 2 years off. Broke his leg. 40-year-old Douglas Silva de Andrade, women's MMA. Moutinho, women's MMA. Medina, Angel Pacheco. Luna's a fun fighter, but I mean they're setting him up to win there. Emmanuel Rodriguez is fun too. They pretty much just took like every Mexican fighter that they think could be something on the main card and gave them absolute layups. Absolute layups. Like Luna, they think Luna could be something. They gave him Angel Pacheco. That's a layup. Rodriguez should be able to beat Borjas. Chira should be able to beat Bunis. Zell Huber should absolutely be able to beat King Green. Will he do that? I'm not sure. Martinez versus Cheeto, like that's a very winnable fight for Martinez. And even the original booking, Moreno versus Almabayev, I think Moreno would have won. And but Loner Kavanaugh on short notice is a tough ask for Loner, bro. So I mean, this card is not very deep. Not very deep. Assuming Sean stuffs the takedowns, chances he beats Khamzat pretty high if he stuffs the takedowns, bro. Do you like Shamrock? Don't really care for Shamrock. I don't really love him or hate him. This week's card sucks. Yeah, I agree. Don't ask me why I made 8K on Moicano by KO on the BST fight. KO was like plus 1,500. Yeah, that was wild, dude. Wild. Moicano the GOAT. For real. Talbot versus Simon or Ricky Simone. Is that who you're saying? Would be interesting. Would be a good fight. All right, boys. I'm going to hop out of here. Get in the lab. Get some more research done on UFC Mexico. We got a good, I wouldn't say a good, but we got a card this Saturday. So we gotta lock in. It's been a rough week, a rough start to 2026. So let's lock in. Let's make some coin. We'll be back here throughout the week with more content. Appreciate y'all for joining me tonight on the Sunday Service live stream. And have a good week, boys. Until next time, hey, Job Picks.